Hello, Pardus players. Welcome. I'm going to try to walk you through this Starbase capture that I did. So, first thing, hire squads. I happen to be friended on this Starbase for this exact reason. So, I'm buying hand weapons, and it says you need, what is it, like 100, for every bomber, it's 100 hand weapons, 400,000 credits, and you have to have those hand weapons on your person or on your ship in your ship's cargo when you go for the hire. So I hired 200 at a time, and I'm hiring 2 bombers at a time, and I have enough cash and reserves to hire those bombers. So here I'm hiring the third and fourth. I'm going to transfer 200 more hand weapons to my cargo hold. Go back to the hire squads page, hire some more squads. I do this 8 times. I've done Starbase captures in the past, and for my last Starbase capture, I had 6 squads for the whole capture, and I was only able to destroy 7 out of 8 hab rings. So this time I hired 8 just to make sure I was well covered. So here, I just added the 8. I've got my squads listed on the list right there, and right now they're sitting on top of the Starbase, and I'm just going to put them fly close so that nobody knows essentially what we're doing with the Starbase. Because if somebody flies by and sees 8 bombers, they're going to assume, oh, he's going to cap this soon. Maybe I'll hide out and maybe get lucky and, snipe the guy capping, and I'll get the cap instead, something like that. So I fly him close to avoid any sort of, intelligent operations in the area. Next thing I do in a moment, you got to wait. So when you do the 100 hand weapons, they need them every day. When you do the initial hire, you have to have those to do the hire, but you get an auto, like a free day essentially for having those hand weapons. So when you first hire them, you get 2 days, 2 solid full days with the hand weapons that you use to hire. So 100 hand weapons for 100 bomber squads gives you 2 days, no matter what. Okay, I should do a little recap. Before I hired any of these squads, I created my own alliance, union aligned, and I went into private conflict with this inactive Starbase owner that happens to be in my main alliance, Heaven's Wrath. So I started that private conflict to avoid any sort of rep loss on my part. So this is now 40 hours later, I go through the Starbase capture part, and we're well into the private conflict at this point. So here we go. I go to my squads page. I wait for AP tick. The squad tick, the Starbase tick has already come and gone. So we're going in there. Now we're just going to go after the hab rings. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm just going to attack until my bombers run out of APs. The first thing that they're going to do, squads are special in the sense that if you go after hab rings, all the defenses shoot at you, but you shoot all the standard defenses at the same time while taking out the hit points on the hab rings. So I'm going in there, and I'm losing some squads because the standard defenses are taking them out, but my squads are also doing the damage. So the first hab ring is down. So I'm going for the second one. There's still some standard defenses on there, but they're slowly going to be taken out. And as soon as they're all gone, then my bombers are going to go in and do maximum hit points for every 50 action point attack. So you see now, there's no standard defenses anymore. So I'm getting the maximum amount of hit point damage with my 100 bombers for every single 50 AP attack. So then if I run out of attacks because the hab ring goes down, I just move on to the next hab ring. And then once that squad runs out of APs, I just move on to the next squad. So now I'm on my 4th squad. I've already taken out, looks like 3 hab rings and working on the 4th. And with 8 bombers, this is looking good. So now I'm going to open tabs for the remaining bombers. So here we're still on the 4th one. Now we're on the 5th hab ring. So we're doing definitely very well. And so now we're on the 5th squad. Go to the 5th hab ring again. So yeah, we're going to be fine. I mean, this is how you do an inactive Starbase cap. If there's no HDAs, the heavy defense artilleries, you need at most 8 bomber squads, and at the very least probably 7 to do it solo. And if you have pilots available to help you, then you hardly need any. I would say probably 3 bomber squadrons would do you just fine if you had 8 or 9 guys helping you take out the hab rings. The 8 or 9 guys better have full action points too. But I just hired the extra bombers myself to avoid having to have extra pilots come in and help me with the cap. So now we're on, I don't know, the 7th or 8th hab ring. I can't really see that far. I should probably zoom in so I can see this properly. Yeah. So this is, I can't really tell. Basically, I'm getting after it still. And then the next part, if you're unfamiliar with Starbase captures, is, that's the 8th hab ring. And that was only 7 bomber squads. So we actually had a full set of squads in reserve. So here I go. I'm going to the command center till I find the button. There it is. That's the invade command center button. And now it's just a 10-minute wait. And I retreat just to test to see if I would actually retreat off of the invasion, because I've always been curious about that. If you retreat off the invasion, do you lose the progress? And it looks like the answer is no. You do not lose the progress. I don't necessarily know in what circumstances you would lose the progress, but I'm assuming at some sort of Starbase tick and or hab ring regeneration, you would lose the progress that you've made on the invasion of the command center. But anyway, here I actually got a message from an Alliance member of mine, and he's just asking if I need any help. But basically I'm done, and as long as I survive the invasion process, which nobody really knew I was doing this other than my own Alliance, so I assumed that I would survive. I mean, it's bad to assume things, and especially if you're doing something like this in the neutral zone, you probably don't want to assume anything like that. But since we're in a faction core, it's a little bit safer. But I don't know. I just kind of enjoy the Starbase action or the squad aspect of Pardus. So anytime there's some sort of inactive capture that needs to be done, I usually try to volunteer just because it entertains me. So I just keep doing the invasion of the command center, and I keep navving here to see if anybody pops up, and like somebody trying to take over my capture or snipe me while I'm on the command center. This part on an inactive capture of a Starbase is kind of dull just because nothing's really happening. But, I mean, if you're in the middle of a war, Federation versus Empire, it doesn't really matter. This is the exciting part because if the attacker is careless enough, you can get a team of defenders and go snipe the guys on the command center, and it becomes fascinating to watch somebody save the day or what have you. But in this situation, it's just a few buttons. But again, the fighter squads, it's their only advantage for the most part is they start with action points. So if you need to, move some squads onto your command center in a hurry or on top of a hab ring in a hurry because you're under attack, your best bet is to use those fighters, but they're probably going to die quickly. But the idea is to, starve your attackers' action points by defending, say, a hab ring or a command center, because they can't move on to that square if you're blocking. And if, I don't know, if the attacker runs out of action points on their squads, then essentially they'll fail the capture or the destruction. And that's the objective. And so that's what the fighter squads are good for. But they are weaker. They don't shoot as well. And they store fewer action points. They have a lower maximum storage. And they're more expensive to maintain. The initial cost is about the same. It's shifted from the credits to the hand weapons. It costs 200 hand weapons to hire a 100 squad fighter, but it's only like 250K credits to hire. But the maintenance cost of hiring fighter squads is really intense. And so bombers are typically what you'll see if you have the privilege of going to somebody's starbase and you're able to hire squads. You'll notice they usually store more bombers than fighters because bombers are a lot more useful in a wartime situation, especially for attacking purposes. Whether it's attacking squads or attacking starbase buildings. So, I don't know, your average player Starbase, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, obviously, but it tends to be around, you can have up to 1,200 squads stored in your Starbase. So you see typically around, I don't know, maybe 400, kind of like you saw in this one, 400 fighter squads and 800 bomber squads, sort of stored up in reserves. And you'll see if you're growing too many fighters, you'll see people what they call, I guess, farming out their fighters. So they'll have like a fighter that's got one squad in it, and they'll take a couple hand weapons, hire that squad, and disband the squad immediately, hoping that the next time bomber squads will spawn in its place. Because typically Starbase owners want more bombers, again, for attacking reasons. This base had a lot of ships on it. I guess it was a bunch of small ships, but I mean, it did have a Scorpion. It did have that other Union ship. What's it called? A Horpo, the one right below the Scorpion. And then they had a Behemoth. It had a Hawk. It had a Gargantua. So I'm probably gonna. I mean, unless the Alliance wants those ships, I don't know. If we don't want the Starbase, basically, we'll make that decision later. But basically, if they don't want the Starbase, I'll probably end up just buying all the ships and scrapping them for the cash, and then maybe keeping the Scorpion. I don't know. I haven't made up my mind yet. The base also had 20 million credits when I started, or maybe 22 million credits when I started in its reserves. And then after I bought the hand weapons that were on the base, it had about 25 million. So at the end of the day, the 8 bombers cost, I think it was a total of like 6 million credits. So at the end of the day, it was worth the time. 14 million credit sort of saved from a downgrading Starbase. Not to mention all the equipment and the ships on board. So right now I'm still navving. Still going to the next zone. Still going. My guy showed up. And right now I'm trying to talk to him. But I couldn't find a automatic personal message button. So I go there. Anyway. You really shouldn't be doing stuff like this if this is a serious op and this is an aggressive offensive Starbase capture. Checking the messages and the news and stuff like I do here is very, very foolish and careless. But in this situation, again, it's the probability of me getting sniped in this situation is relatively low, especially since everybody knows what's going on in my alliance and in the neighboring alliances. But yeah, still invading the command center. This part's pretty self-explanatory. You go into each room until the 10th room, and then once you hit that 10th room, you're able to complete the capture. And you'll see actually in that other tab I've got open in Chrome, I've got the overview tab open to the buildings sub-tab, and I've already got 5 buildings, and I'm only allowed 5. So I'm basically getting ready to destroy my 5th building to make room for this starbase. And I'm just going to destroy one of my space farms. And but I wait until the last second to do that, because if I do get sniped, I would like to keep that building, you know, as sort of some sort of consolation. But it's almost done now. If you guys have any questions or anything, you know, you can comment, or you can send me a personal message in Artemis. I'm Hursajet, H-U-U-R space S-J-E-T, and then in Orion, I am Flirsajet, F-L-I-I-R-S-J-E-T again. If you have questions. If you don't, then whatever. This is going to be a solo take as far as the audio goes. I've kind of experimented with a microphone this time. Hopefully it's a little more clear. My last Starbase capture, as well as it went, the audio was really poor on it, and I'm hoping this time it turns out a lot better. But here we go. Destroy the building. Go ahead. On my last room. And here we go. And you have a drop-down list of pilots you can transfer it to, or you can just transfer it to yourself. But you have to click one final button in order to complete that transfer. So here I am. This is the my new Starbase, at least for now. And here, first thing I do is put all the credits on my ship, just in case the building gets destroyed. Because if the building gets destroyed and I didn't take the credits off, that was all for nothing. So I got the credits. I can't remember what I'm looking for here. Oh, yeah, end the private conflict. So I'm going to offer peace terms starting now. And then the peace terms are sent to Heaven's Wrath leadership. And that's it. That's all she wrote. Mission accomplished. Thanks for watching.